There's a game that I've been wanting to talk about for a few weekends that I haven't had the chance to because we've had some pretty packed episodes, but now I can finally talk about it. I have been playing The Evil Within, and some of you who are listening to this might have tuned in live over on Twitch to watch me do so. But for those of you who haven't, and even for those of you who have, I want to talk through some of my thoughts on this because, first of all, very different from the other Tango Gameworks game I played, Hi-Fi Rush. So I wasn't expecting this to be a horror game, to be honest. So that kind of spooked me a little bit. But no, I had no idea until the literal opening moments of the game that it was the like what this game was representing. Like, it is essentially a spiritual successor to the Resident Evil series. Obviously, it's from the director, right? I believe of the Resident Evil series. But then, like,
Shinji Mikami.
But then the title really hit me. Yes, thank you for the name. The Evil Within is the Resident Evil. It really it really brought it together for me. Now, knowing nothing about the game, I was joking about the fact that it wasn't. I was surprised it was a horror game, but I really didn't know much else about it. And so going in, and cataclysmic events are happening in the opening of this game. I'm like, I thought I was signing up for Resident Evil, not 2012, the movie. Also, the first 3 chapters of this game, again, because I play for people's entertainment sometimes, so I succumb to peer pressure. I did the survival difficulty for the first 3 chapters. Holy shit, that was so intense. I mean, it was like the most... I hadn't felt that kind of like intensity in a video game in a few months. I mean, it's been a long time, and so that was like a crazy experience. I texted Nick, I think the night after I played it. I was like, "Holy dude, that was like a terrifying experience." Because the end of, for those of you who don't know, and I'm not going to really talk about spoilers here, though I am about 2/3 done the game. So while you could consider this first impressions, most of my thoughts are kind of solidified here. But the opening of the game, the first 3 chapters ends with the sadist is what the name is, and that mission going through this, you essentially have this. You're trapped in this little compound, similar to like how in Resident Evil 4 in that little village in the demo area, and there's a guy with a chainsaw. and he's chasing you, and you have to figure out a way to kill him. And that sequence, I mean, I was hiding in closets like, oh my god, please don't fucking look at me, please. And super immersed. Then the next stream, just because, like, I mean, the last like 30 minutes was me dying of the chapter 3. So I was like, all right, let's tone it down. That's, so we make it through the story. And almost immediately, it felt like you took the foot off the gas. Like it was like so much slower, and not as intense. It was it still had intense moments, but it was like you could feel the difference. I was going into situations where I was like, oh, I can go in for this like more risky move. Whereas like I would not have dared. I was playing like a absolute bitch on survival. But here I'm like a little bit more Leon Kennedy. I can kind of kick some ass, that kind of vibe to it. But that being said, really interesting story. It is a little bit like convoluted at the start, but like as it's now coming together, I'm really interested in seeing what happens. I like this. I think some people could make the argument that it is slow on the delivery of information and background for characters, but I also kind of appreciate how at the dose that it kind of gives you, because it's very like small doses of like, oh, here's a little bit about this character that you're playing as, and here's a little bit more information. And as it's coming together, at least from the way it's looking for me, I think it lines up nicely for kind of the events to come. I'll say that much. But still, this is a top-notch horror video game. And there was like a weird thing in the last 40 minutes of the last chapters I played where I was I had entered some sort of Zen state, Nick, where I mean, and again, I'm watching with chat, and Austin and Alexa are also, just as Nick was talking about the share play earlier. That's how they watch live, and they kind of like can experience the horror with me. And for these last like 40 minutes, I was so zoned in. I had like this mini boss fight, and I like, they're like, do this, you got to do this, and I was like, I mean, it could have been like Mr. Blue Sky was playing in my head. I was so calm and cool, collected, which was weird. I feel like that is a cool experience, but it feels so tonally different from the first 3 chapters for me. So I feel like I've had a weird journey going through the game, kind of changing difficulties a little bit through. But with all that said, I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Hopefully in this weekend or the coming weekend, I can put a bow on it and confirm my thoughts that I already have, which is that I like it, and I'm excited for the second one.
Yeah, I need to hop back into it because I started playing it months ago and played it for one night and then got distracted with other things. So I really want to go back to it. And
it's such a weird. I feel like I was wrapping up, and then look what you did, Nick. Now I'm going to talk about it some more. It's one of those games where you start, and I'm not even talking about, like, obviously, like I said, like the start is so unexpected because it's like cataclysmic events are happening, and you're like, I don't know what's happening, but you don't really know where the rest of the game is going. Like, there's a part, at a point I was just like, man, I got no idea where. Like, if you asked me 5 missions ago where I'd be, I would not have said here, and I don't have no idea where I'm going to end up 5 missions from now. But it's a ride that I've enjoyed so far.